Okay, so I started recording, and this is our course outline. Everybody should have, actually, I send you late, but everybody should have now. So this is kind of sample week number, meeting number, and TBD. Anybody can be like this, maybe Socrates, this later maybe Jewel Bhai. So this is nothing. So I'm just trying to understand where is this actually class at this moment. So this part is done, basic SDLC, STLC. This part also should be done. This waterfall agile, I'm sure this is kind of till this part, it seems like we are done already, right? So did you, like, you already covered like defect, right? And bug life cycle?
Yes.
What about test cases, test plan, test scenario? These two lines.
Last class, Socrates class, he gave it to us one of the sample for test case and test scenario, and also.
So boundary value analysis, equivalence partitioning, this is also completed?
No. Maybe not.
I don't think so.
Okay, so this one maybe is a missing piece. Sometimes this is an interview question also. Okay, so
we didn't do this boundary value analysis.
So you did test scenario, but you did not do boundary and value analysis?
I don't remember about that. It seems like new.
No, we didn't.
Okay. So he will probably cover later. So right now we are doing different type of software testing, right? Like we did database testing, we did UI validation, we are doing API testing, and today we'll be doing performance testing. It's also kind of backend testing, it's all of this. So this is kind of in progress at this point. And you guys are doing one of the test plan, right? By Socrates at this point. It is done already, your teamwork, like as a team you are doing?
Yeah, it is done already.
Oh, okay, you already submitted your all the task, the requirement analysis and test case.
Yeah,
testing.
but yeah.
Okay. So it looks like that's part of the project. So here, these pieces are already done, right? It's data types. Yeah, this is basic Java.
Yes.
Okay. Loops are done actually.
Yes.
Different type of loops, if else, array.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yes.
Okay. So maybe some of this here is missing, right? Like some of this oops concept, something. Okay, inheritance was done. Polymorphism is kind of done also, but encapsulation and abstraction maybe we have to review in the future again. So automation is in progress right now. Basic Selenium already done, right? Selenium WebDriver is done. Different type of locators. You already know how to find the locators, right? Assertion you did already. This is, I think Joelbhai already covered most of them. Some stuff here, maybe Joelbhai will be coming back and will be showing you, because some of them he showed you and some of them he did not. And most of them actually are interview question. All of these are interview question actually. So if you see anything here, can be asked during the interview. So just review. If you think that you don't know, you have to actually make a list, and we have to cover this in a class, like as a practice. And some of these already done, right? BDD, TDD, TestNG, and Cucumber. In progress kind of thing, right? So this one is in progress. These are all of these kind of in progress, these and these. TestNG and Cucumber. So Jewelby already started TestNG and Cucumber separately in like few weeks back, right? So backend testing, this part is done, right? SQL, different type of queries. So there was 2 classes on SQL and backend testing. So API testing, you are doing practice now. This is Postman, this is Rest Assured. And this is coming in the future again about more details on Cucumber. So more practice on Cucumber. So this one will be later of the course. Some kind of mobile testing you need because mobile testing is kind of mandatory nowadays. Most of the company use mobile testing. Sorry. So today's class will be this one actually. Introduction to performance testing, and one of the tools that is like free tools most of the company use nowadays. Then I think Jewelby already covered like this part, right? X-ray and how to use X-ray. Not X-ray, Jira, last class.
Yes.
So I think next class Jewelby will be covering. So Jewelby already covered Git and GitHub. If he did not cover, then he will cover next class. Git and GitHub. And there are some classes that I did, like we did not add anything because we know there will be more classes needed for more practice here. So we left like these 3 or 4 classes blank because you need these for practice to cover entire course. So at this point, few of you texted me that what is the topics that you should be concentrating more at this point. So I would suggest Selenium will be number 1, where you should spend more time for practice. Selenium means Selenium WebDriver, TestNG, and Cucumber. Anything related to Selenium automation testing will be your number 1 priority. Then any homework, for example, there's like Socrates gave you homework, you are doing this, and then after Selenium WebDriver and homework, it like now your Postman and API testing can come to your actually priority list. So whatever Jewelby covered during his like 3 weeks class, that will be your first priority at this point. Make sure you are understanding that Selenium WebDriver and how to create test scenarios using Selenium WebDriver, means Java and Selenium WebDriver. And then after you know everything about WebDriver, you can move on to TestNG framework and Cucumber framework and create projects using those framework. So that if you use Cucumber or TestNG, basically you are using Selenium WebDriver and Java. So they work all together. Selenium WebDriver, Cucumber, TestNG, automation testing, they work together. So that will be your first priority because you need a lot of practice for that. And you'll be facing a lot of interview question also from there. Other stuff like SDLC, STLC is more like understanding theory, how it works. So your entire career will be SDLC and STLC. If you work as a QA, you are basically following all the SDLC process. So if you understand SDLC, STLC, it's good enough. If you can explain what is agile process, what is different steps of SDLC steps and process, what is STLC process, what is the difference between agile and waterfall. If you understand those stuff, you will be good enough for these pieces. Some other thing you have to know, for example, what is defect, right? What is defect or bug life cycle? How you can log a defect? What is all the process? Like one of your tasks from Socrates was requirement analysis and writing test scenarios and test cases. So basically, understanding those will be good enough. But for practice point of view, automation is number one priority because you have to give a lot of time for automation practice. Now, Jira, Jira you already saw, all the requirements, your communication will be through Jira. So you will be assigned some task and you will be accepting those tasks. You will be adding your comments. If you have any question, you can add the question. Any details you need for testing will be actually provided through Jira. You already have some experience about Slack, right? Slack is another tool for communication tool. So some company use Slack also. So all of you already have access to Slack also. So Slack, Jira, those are kind of some tools that you will be seeing when you work as a QA. Some other thing like Microsoft email, like Outlook, right? Outlook will be used like 99.9% time. It's almost 100% time that for email communication, you will be using Outlook. Some other thing you already using, like for example, Zoom, right? WebEx, sometimes, Zoom and WebEx are two, and Microsoft Teams. Actually, Microsoft Teams are getting more popular now. So Microsoft Teams, WebEx, Zoom, this type of online platform will be used for day-to-day communication, like meeting setup, quick chat or call during your day-to-day life work, actually. So I think you all have like good knowledge about this stuff, like Zoom or Microsoft Teams or WebEx. That's like a messaging stuff or messaging platform, or you can just create a video call. You can set up meeting with your partner, like your coworker, your developer, and just share your screen, this type of thing. So at this point, I can see some missing stuff. For example, maybe GitHub Jenkins is one of these topic will be covered, need to cover for the interview especially. And also mobile testing will be covered. Other than that, more details are more advanced on Selenium WebDriver, Cucumber, TestNG is kind of remaining materials. Like the few stuff remains for next 4 weeks, right? 5 weeks actually. There are more 5 weeks. So anybody has any confusion where you are right now? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
So as I said, your first priority will be practicing automation. Practicing automation will be your first priority. A few of you already asked me, that's why I'm just reviewing this. So Selenium WebDriver, Cucumber, TestNG, your number one priority. You have to give additional hours if you are not clear about how to write code or script. you can review previous meeting recordings, or you can also follow Udemy courses. Udemy courses also very, very helpful, step by step, everything. So this part, for example, what is that? As I said, this is kind of all the interview question, right? These are right. So these are, you don't sometimes have to wait for Jewelby also. You can just directly go to Udemy and check this. For example, if I just go to, okay, what is that? If I go to Udemy, is there, okay. This is Udemy, our Udemy courses. You see that this course, he covered everything in details. If you have like started, that's good. I'm hoping almost everybody actually following one of these course, not just our weekly classes. Our weekly classes is kind of faster. We don't have enough time to cover every single details. So this type of course will be actually very, very helpful. So if you see right here, you see that miscellaneous topics in Selenium WebDriver. All of these are kind of interview questions, are coming different type of and sometimes what is that? If I open this, right, you see that window handling, working with frames. You see that different type of weights. Each of this clip is like 12 minutes, 10 minutes, 16 minutes. So the instructor actually gave you like really, really detailed example and practiced in front of you. So you can just follow this type of video, like this type of recorded Udemy courses, right? Where you will see all of these example that you need. Especially if you don't like him, for example, also just copy and paste and go to YouTube video, like YouTube, and search this topic. You will find hundreds of instructors showing different way. Check one or two in YouTube also. Don't check something like 30 minutes or 40 minutes. Always choose something like close to 10 minutes, no more than 15 minutes. If something is 40 minutes, you will not have actually patience to complete actually. Something 10 to 15 minutes is good, because this is a good like amount of time that you can concentrate for one small like video clip. So practice Selenium WebDriver. This is the first priority at this point. So now I will move on to my topic for today. So this is JMeter, right? Okay. So you see that JMeter will be actually JMeter will be used. Sometimes your company will be using JMeter. So you already saw Postman displayed some kind of performance related information, right? For example, how many millisecond you need to send a request, or what is the status code, like 200, 201, 400, or 300, something like that, right? You already saw those in Postman. So JMeter is another tool. This is a free open source tool that will be used for performance testing. This is sometimes alternative of Postman. You will be checking if your application performance is right or wrong based on your requirement. For example, your requirement said the application or website you built, that should be good for should be good to log in 100 people in same time. So you created one of this website, for example, some marketplace, and now you as a product owner expecting 100 people will be logging in the same time. In 2 second period, there will be 100 user will be logging in this website or will be click on this website URL. So that they can go to website and check stuff, right? But sometimes what happens, you have 100 limit, but after 10 customer login, application becomes frozen, right? It hangs or it what is that? Performance is not working. It is not loading at all. You see that those performance, uh, more than one user, how can you use? So you are a single tester. How can you test and simulate like, okay, you will be testing like you are using 20 different users. So these are some tools like JMeter, where you will be actually setting up user number as like, for example, 50, 100, 200, sometimes 1000, 2000, right? So this is some setup. And as you said, in this screen, you see that Apache JMeter, right? It is an open source, 100% pure Java based. So if you already have Java downloaded, you don't need anything else. Then you have to just download this JMeter. So I will be using kind of this course. One second. From Udemy, we have another course on learning. Okay. So this is the course actually I will be following. So this is by Raghav Pal, I think. Let me check. So he actually gave all of this information step by step that you need. I'll be showing high level also. Let's see how much, like, how many like topic I can cover on these tools. But I will try to cover at least, okay, starting, creating a test plan, writing some test cases. Means test cases means some requests similar to Postman and Rest Assured, and then run those, create reports, checking if those test cases passed or failed, something like that. So I will suggest whenever you get chance, you start watching those videos. At least, okay. At least do till section 6. If you can do till section 6, you don't need like 12. And those are like small sections, like 1 hour, 1 hour, 2, 4, yeah, like 5 hours. It's like 5 hours, it will be done. You have to just practice, basically. He showed very slowly and step by step, explained very well. So I will start actually showing you how he did it from my side. Okay, so he started giving all the information about what is load testing, what is performance testing, right? So this is part of different type of testing. It can be asked during the interview also. What is a load testing? What is a performance testing? So load testing, performance testing, those are actually important sometimes from a business point of view, right? Because this is nothing related to code sometimes. Sometimes performance is important because, for example, if you are working with Amazon or eBay or Macy's.com or Walmart.com, you have millions of customers every single minutes. They're logging, they're buying stuff, right? wayfair.com, a lot of other .com, right? Online based application. So if you see their business, performance is their main actually criteria from business side. Um, so Amazon Day, for example, on Amazon Day, they expect 5 million users will be logging in the same time. What happens if after 1 million user login and application crash, drop, it is not available? So Amazon will be losing millions of dollars, right? So this is important. It is important to check what is the maximum number of users can log in to a particular website or application. So this is performance testing actually. So making sure at certain level, certain number of users can log in, and what is the maximum number, and this kind of what is the threshold. So after certain number, if performance is normal or not, if performance is, if your application working correctly or not. So all of these your performance testing. And now there are a lot of tools, but JMeter will be one of the easier and free tools that many companies use just as a site. If you already have Postman, you are using Postman. Now you are using Postman and REST assured. You don't need JMeter a lot. Excuse me. You don't need JMeter a lot. You need JMeter for some other quick validation. For example, if you have, as I said, in your requirement said, 100 users should be able to log in at the same time. So this 100 user, actually Postman is not checking this as 100 user at the same time. JMeter can actually. JMeter also can do some kind of API testing, like for example, you can check JSON validation, you can do status code like 200 or like this type of thing, but you are already doing this through Postman or REST assured. Now JMeter will be used for mostly for bulk user, right? You are using this tool to check if a lot of people, a big number of people can log in some website or some application, or can access some application. So you can just review this jmeter.apache.org. It says what is JMeter: open source software, 100% pure Java based. So how can you use this? You can use for those HTTP protocol, right? So this will be one of these testing you'll be doing. Web application, right? Testing web application, and similar to Postman and REST assured, you'll be mostly checking HTTP request and responses. So now, how can you download? Just go to download release, right? That Udemy course, right? He already showed step by step every single details, slowly and clearly, for both Windows and Mac operating system. So you don't have to worry about if you have Mac, you don't have to worry about if you have Windows. So both will be covered through this course actually. So now if you go to Windows, right, or Mac, you will see this information. So as from my knowledge, I know all of you have at least Java 8 and higher. So anything less than Java 8 will not work. Similar to like Selenium also, right? We said you cannot have less than version 8. So if you have 8, then you are good to go. So now you will just click on this. You see that Apache JMeter 5.4 zip. You will just get the zip. So if you click on this, so for example, I just clicked it. So now it will go to your download folder, for example. You see that? It went to download folder. So now if I just, okay, you see that it came here. So if you double click on now Apache JMeter, you will see a lot of other folders, right? But you don't have to worry about anything else. Just the bin. You see that the bin, double click on bin. And inside the bin, if, so my laptop right now, Mac. So all you have to do, you see that this, you have to drop this to your terminal, just like this, like bring it and drop. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. Just bring it and drop to your terminal. I just dropped it, and it processed like this. You see that it says, and that's it. Then now you got your JMeter. So once you drop it, you will see something, some JMeter, something like that. You see that? This is JMeter. It is very similar to Postman. All you have to do, create test plan or some folder and add the request here. You see that? So there are a lot of stuff here. You don't have to be expert on all of this. So some stuff you need. Let me check.
How about the Windows? Because we don't have terminal.
Oh no, Windows also. Yeah. So for Windows, you have to just, if you just watch the video, it is straightforward, same thing, same like this. Windows also, you have to just move it to terminal. Terminal means command line, right? Here it is saying terminal, but in Windows it will be CMD. It will be CMD, and just you can just drop it. But for Windows, one thing is a little bit difference. What is that? Okay, here. This is okay. So for Mac, right? From the bin, you see that from the bin, I copied this one, right? But for Windows, you will be copying this one, jmeter.bat. So here you will find jmeter.bat. So in Mac, jmeter.sh, right? But Windows will be jmeter.bat. This is the difference. The folder name will be a little bit different. You see that here?
Yes.
In Windows, it will be .bat. All of these nodes, whatever I am showing you, I got from here. So each of his, you see that all of this is nodes. You can just download in your laptop actually, and just a folder. You can just download and you can save it. You see that how to install JMeter, how to create first JMeter test. This is one of the most important one for your most of the interview. If you can complete one, this will be summarizing your all of these JMeter uses actually. And then you can do a little bit more practice with these. But section 1 will be like kind of summarizing your most of this major task in JMeter. And this is only, what is that? Like 1 hour only, that's it. Now, this is by JMeter, right?
Chandra, I have a question, small question here.
Yes.
So before towards the marketing, you provide us the interview question. Isn't it enough to face interview?
This is actually enough means is different, because sometimes I wrote one question in my interview question list, right? The same question can be asked in different way actually, and different interviewer will be asking different way. But one important thing, you have to have good basics, a clear understanding on, for example, what is selenium, how you work with selenium, or what is cucumber, how cucumber works, or how you basically, if you get some kind of exceptions, how you handle those, this type of thing. So
basically, topic
basic
is same, but
interview,
way of ask is different, right?
yeah, like it is not necessarily you will see exactly same way from the questions we will be providing you. For example, if I am interviewer, one of the day I am asking what is your strength, and now another day another interviewer will be asking you why our company should hire you. Why our company should hire you, right? You see that the question is coming, answer will be kind of similar. Another company you are going and they will be asking you, if we hire you, what you can introduce to your team or company. So it's actually is kind of showing what type of leadership strength you have and how you are actually introducing your new company, introducing a new team, how you will be helping, how you will be mentoring, what is your strength. You see that, like, you have to summarize your answer a little bit differently based on the question. So if you just, okay, if you have like 100 question, if I say this is interview question, and if you just expect that, okay, exactly the way it will be asked, it will never be asked that exact the way it will be written actually. But sometimes you have to modify a little bit the answer.
Whatever. Thank you.
You have to modify the answer based on the question. Okay. So, but you have to have your clear understanding actually, the process. Okay, so this is Apache JMeter, right? So now you see there is a couple of stuff here. File, edit, search. So now if I want to create a new plan, new test case folder, or I want to write a new folder. So what I have to do, I can go here, file, and click new. You see that? Or if you don't want to go to file, you can just directly click here. You see that there is a new button also. Any of these will be working to create a new file or new test folder or new project or new what is that, package, you can say. So if I create file new, for example, I will see a new test plan. You see that new test plan? So what is that new test plan actually? So this test plan will be having basically multiple requests. For example, get, post, put, right? You will have, this is a folder. This is just a folder structure. So this is a parent root, right? Under this, you will be adding more stuff. So if this is a test plan, and now you can change the name actually. So I can just say my first JMeter test. So my first JMeter test. This is your test plan actually. So this is, for example, your name. So it will be changed. The name will be changed later. So now you can add so if you want to create another one, for example, you see that. So other than this, anywhere you click, your name will be changed. So there are test items that have not been saved. Do you want to save? So you can save it or you cannot save it. It's up to you. So for example, I want to save it. Yes. Just go to save. That's it. So this test plan saved. So now if I go there, open recent, you see that my first JMeter test saved, and this one maybe another one I did maybe earlier sometimes. So anytime you create a new test plan, it will be saved and you can open this anytime. So okay, so if I do this, my first, okay, so now what you have to do here, you have to right click. There are several things you have to know and their task. If I go there again, actually I don't need this, I already opened this. So this part I just explained. Now this part, right? So how to create first JMeter test, and I'm right now in there, right? JMeter overview, GUI overview. So here, okay. So you see that this one is also save button. This one is run. When you have a test, you can run from here. If you want to, for example, you want to just reset, you can reset from here, clear all. So you ran something, but you want to run this again and you want to clean those. Just clear all here. And if you run and it is running like infinity, we will have access here, stop. And you will see here like how many people you are testing. For example, as I said, right, sample user, your application need 50 in 2 seconds. So in 2 seconds, 50 users will be logged in. So you will see there 50, right? 50. And how many millisecond here? This is like millisecond you are getting to run this test. And this is kind of log. You want to see the result on the bottom. If you click this, it will be visible. But first check one of these test case. Now, in this Udemy, he used this website for testing. What is that? Lifecharger.org organization. Now I'm going to JMeter. So if I want to create first test case or request, right click on this. See that, right click, and now add. Your request will be coming inside the thread. You see that thread users? Thread users means you will be deciding, okay, how many users sample will be actually tested during this test. For example, it can be 20, it can be 10, it can be 30, 50, 100, right? In your real life, it can be 1,000, 2,000. So if you click on, right click on your test plan, then add threads, thread group. You see that I'm just creating a thread group. So now in this thread group, there are few stuff you have to know. You can change this name anytime actually. So your thread group can be, okay, I can say my first thread group. I can say my first thread group. This is the thread group name. You can add comment. It is not necessary. So you can just click on continue. You can give a thread like stop test or something like that. So basically, each of these user will be login. You will continue the next one. So you are not stopping anywhere. So continue is the most usable one that you will be always using. So this part is the most important part actually. So how many number of users you are testing? For example, you are creating one of your personal website to selling clothing or some stuff, right? You have your website and you said that you want to give at least the range. Okay, 30 people can join in between 5 seconds. 30 people can be joined, and ramp up period I can say 5 seconds, as I said, right? So basically these 30 people will be joining in less than 5 seconds. So this is your max, and you are not giving infinity, so you are just testing one time. This just one time you are testing. So if you see, if I run this in the future, you will see this is instead of 20, it will be 30 actually. This will be 30, and this time, right, it will be less than 5 seconds. That is the expectation, less than 5 seconds. So if this is more than 5 seconds, that means this is performance is not good. So you said less than 5 seconds, 30 users should be able to log into my website. For example, this is your website, Life Charger. Now, so these all will be as the same users. So what is the next step? So next step will be, you have to provide the URL information, right? So that there is a name also. You see that sampler. This is sampler is the name. You have to add the sampler inside the thread group. First, you have a project, right? Inside the project, you added a thread group. This thread group is kind of your another folder. So this is kind of parent folder, right? And this is kind of a child folder. So sampler will be your more like another child folder compared to this thread group. So right click, sampler. So this is kind of your Postman, right? What type of request you are doing. So most of the time, 99.9% time, JMeter will be used for HTTP requests, right? This is mostly internet-based 3-tier application. All the web-based application, HTTP requests. So HTTP request is your actually sampler. And inside the sampler, you have to give all of this your server or URL information, right? So what is that actually? So for example, if same thing I can say my first HTTP request. So this is my sampler name. You can just click here, you will see that this name will be changed. See that? So whatever you write here, it will be the name of this. Like this, for example, this is a test case, for example. So now what you have to do, you have to provide the server name here, right? So if I go to lifechanger.com or something organization, I just copy this URL and provide inside the JMeter. So if I give here, this is your server name or IP. So in real work, there will be maybe another port number like security layer, right? Some other port number or ID that you need to go to this URL, right? So right now this one doesn't have any port number, so you don't have to provide anything. But in the server name, you will not give HTTPS. You have to give only the name. The HTTPS part you have to write here, HTTPS. And this part, just delete this then, just livecharger.org. So this HTTPS part will be coming here, and server name or IP will have livecharger.org. Now, if you have further more path, you can provide here, but right now I'm not getting any path, so just this one. So if I want this, what is the path actually? This one, right? So this is the complete path that you are going, and this is the server name, and this is just HTTP part. So now let me save it. For example, this is save. So to test something, if you run this, it probably will be running, right? But you don't know it is passing or failing, or what information you need actually. You actually need some other information. That information is called listener actually. So you see that I did this, I did this, I did this, I just did this one, right? Now I have to add the listener. Listener is kind of reporting, means how you want to see or you want to view the report or result that after you ran like 30 people or 50 people or 100 people, what information you are actually looking for from this test. So right click on this thread. You have to right click on this thread, not the HTTP request thread, and you will see listener. You see that listener, there will be like 10 plus listener here, right? So you don't have to select all of them, like 1 or 2 or 3 will be maybe more popular, right? For example, view result in tree is one of the popular one. You can add more actually. Listener, this is an interview question. What is listener? So listener will be actually basically a view option to see the result when you run a test case or a request on JMeter. So, okay. I did view maybe another one, result in table. This one is very popular. So let me run this first and see how it works actually. So as I said, this is the run option, right? You see that this is the green triangular button. If I run this, you see that some of them are failing, right? And some of them are passing the status. That means this application probably cannot take 30 users in 5 seconds. You'll be seeing same thing. You see that here? And you see that there's 30, right? It was changing. The time is okay, actually. Time is good, but the application probably cannot handle 30 users in same time. So now if I just modify a little bit, if I go to my thread group, change a little bit maybe, instead of 5 seconds, I'm giving 10 seconds. So that means 10 seconds means application will have now more wait time. So it can give extra time to handle those requests, right? So before you had only 5 seconds to handle all these 30 requests or 30 people at the same time. Now you have 10 seconds, for example. Now, if I have 10 seconds and I run this again, let's see what happens. If I run this, I'm expecting this time, oh, actually, it is running, but I supposed to clear this, right? Remember I said I supposed to clean this here. So now all of them actually passed. I can see all of them passed, all 30 passed. This is from the last run. So I want to clean them actually, clean them and run this again to show you. So since I gave extra double time, like instead of 5 seconds, I gave actually 10 seconds for 30 requests. Now it is working perfectly. You see that all the requests are passing. And here is, it is changing very quickly, so that's you cannot see. So
By the way,
all
here
of them
this small
pass.
question here.
Yes.
Like when we run a test, so test time, number of client, so the company provide us the number, right?
Yes, so your business requirement,
How do we,
your product owner will be saying, okay, my application should have capacity to handle 1,000 users in the same time. As I say, like Amazon and Facebook, this type of application will have millions. They're not like thousands. They handle millions of users in the same time. But I'm saying regular small application, like for example, this is just like a sample, right? So you can have here 5,000 instead of 30. But I'm not sure this is like this is a website for test, right? So this website cannot handle maybe 5,000. You see that, like they maybe can handle only 50. But your application should have capacity. But your requirement will say, okay, this application should be able to handle 100,000 users, 2,000 users, 5,000 users. That should be part of your requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So now if I say, okay, what about 30 people actually passed? What about if I give 50 people? And you see that this tree view. So if you click one of these, you will see very similar reports like Postman. Now I'm clicking here. You see that response code 200, response message, okay. All of this information, maybe you have to check. Maybe you have to check what is the latency or what is the body size. You see that header size. This information probably you have to check based on your requirement, right? Maybe you have to check this request. What is the request? Maybe you have to check this response data. You see that those are very similar to Postman or REST Assured, but only one difference. Now you are using multiple users. Before you used just single user, right? One person, everything. Now you are assuming 30 people are logging in a same time. 50 people are logging in a same time.
Can't hear you.
Anybody has a question? I'm sorry.
We can hear you now.
Oh, my voice was dropped.
Yes.
Oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not realize that you cannot hear me. Okay. Okay. So it is clear now, right?
Yes, bhai.
Okay. So basically, as I was saying that based on your testing type, based on your requirement, you may have to test or check several field here, several field here. You see that? There is a lot of fields. Now, as I said, you see that all of this different information and each request, right? How many second, how many millisecond it takes, all the reports are here. You see that I told you this one actually is used for see the log. If I click here, you will see another screen will be popped up here. That will be the log. Sometimes you have to check log if any failure. You see that? There is another screen, right? And some details are here also. Running the test, passing or failing, a lot of things here actually. So you can just see that here by clicking this yellow sign.
So we
And
have
what
to
is
check, sorry, we have to check all this individually, like click one at a time.
You don't have to check all the time, you know, like for example, you have 100 requests. If you see something red, then you have to
Okay.
check. Otherwise, you'll see in the I will show you how to check some other basic assertion. You have assertion also here, like validate some specific field. I will go there later, but this is sometimes will be very much quick review. And this is another view, for example. So here it is displaying differently. You see that result in table format. Now you will see, okay, sample time, right? This is like 1 second. 1125 millisecond means 1 second. So this request was completed in 1 second. So this is expected, right? Anything less than 5 seconds or 3 seconds. So 1 second is actually really good performance. So I don't see anything is more than 1 second. All of them are in 1 second. So sometimes you have to check latency. So latency, sometimes you have to check what is the expected latency. Your development team or product team can actually inform you, okay, check this if it should not be more than 2000 millisecond. If something is more than 2000 millisecond, it has performance is not good, right? So start time, thread name, you see that label, all of this information. Most of the time you will see status code, you see that green status, some other stuff you will see. You can add more, you can add actually more listeners. If I add more listeners, for example, summary report, for example, or yeah, summary report. This can be showing your summary, the average for all of this, right? This is the summary. You can add more stuff. You can add maybe another one. There are like 10, 50, 10, 12 listeners, right? So you have to add something. Oh, I'm just doing listeners. Okay. So okay, there is a graph result also. Sometimes graph is also is important. So if I check this graph now, okay, going back, cleaning up all of this previous one, going back to thread. So for graph, if you just click on infinity, you see that infinite number, you just don't want to run one time, you want to run multiple times, just see how this is working. Infinite, and then I'm saving it. So if you just now run it, so since this is infinite number, right, this stop button will be appeared, because now until you close it, until you forcefully say, okay, stop now, it will not stop, because this is running loop is like infinite. So now if I run this, you'll see this is, see that now it started here. So you will be seeing some testing that, okay, how user performance will be handled when continuous customer interaction will be done to your application. So you see that, so basically your average and throughout will be somewhere meeting in same place at certain point. So it will be first very high, and then later all of these three will be kind of going like this direction, like very close. Okay, so I can just stop it. Okay, I stopped the test. Okay, so graph sometimes is good for reporting, for visualization purpose. Sometimes in the meeting you can show how your request and response are working, like this type of thing. But all of this information he actually explained really well. I'm not actually explaining every single details. If you watch his video, he explained actually really with a lot of other details that you can know, and it will be like beneficial for you actually for information purpose. And if you check now this, you see that it gives you average, all of this average, anything average. You see that since this is infinite, sometimes it passed, sometimes it did not pass. So now your job will be, okay, whatever failed, what is the response code, why it failed. You see that first passed, and then after sometimes it failed. Why it failed? Response code 500. So now you have to check why response code is 500. So it's a server error, right? So now you have to check with development team. Okay, I got response code 500. What is the reason? So development team will check, and development team will be saying, okay, it is maybe expected, or maybe it is a defect. If development team say it is a defect, you will be logging the defect. Okay, so now you have maybe 10 report types here, but you want to see only 2. So other 2, you can just right click and disable. So when you run this report will not display or generate. So only these 2 will be there. So now I am just removing this infinity. So maybe I can check 50, right? How it works. 50 users in the same time, and you are giving ramp up period 10 seconds. Now, if I run this, so far it is working. 50 also working. Oh, okay. So 50 it cannot handle, right? It handled 30 in 10 seconds, but I'm sure 50 will be handled if you give extra time, extra wrap up time. So in web server, they get the request, right? And the request comes, and they have some kind of waiting time. That request goes inside the server, and then response come back. So it looks like 50% passed, 50% failed. Now I want to change this 20 second. 20 second is too much, but just checking. If I give 20 second, I am hoping all of these 50 requests will be passed. Okay, let's see. Actually, I did not clean the previous one. So it looks like it passed actually. All of them passed since I gave extra time to server to handle the requests. Okay, so now Okay. Just do it maybe 10, and maybe this one is 5 seconds, for example, and it should be working. Yeah, all of them are working. 5 seconds, 10 users. Okay, it seems like this this website has some capacity, something like 25 or 30 at the same time. So now I check this one, but I want to check some other link from this website. This one, for example, right? So what you have to do? All you have to do, just copy this and go to JMeter. You see that path? You have to just give copy and paste here. You have to just give the path. So now if you run this, you have to, okay, clear this.
Yeah, here we don't need to change the path.
Where?
Before last scene, yeah. No.
Yep.
Here, the server name.
So this is the server name, but this is the path you are looking for now.
Also,
2 minutes rule.
Okay, thank you.
So if I now check, it should be also working. Okay, so it is also working actually. So now, as I said, what else I can check here? You can add assertion, right? Means you want to check a specific field. Okay, it is 200 or not. If it is, so how you can add assertion? There is another option. You will see if there is the test case, right? If you right click this, add, you see that assertion. This is another option you have to check to see if specific expected result is there or not. So what you gonna do now? You can actually, do from your request, like for example, report level, or you can do from your request level, HTTP, or you can do from your high folder, like what is that? Head group level, right? And also you can do from your test plan level. If you do from here, it will be applicable for all of these. If you do here, it will be applicable for under all of these. If you do here, it will be applicable for all of these. So for example, now I have, okay, this one, right? So if I run this, I can see all of these are giving response code 200, right? So now, if you right click on this and okay, so if you right click on this and you see add assertion, so you see that response, I will assert response, whatever response is coming, response assertion. And now you want to see, okay, text assertion, right? Those are text. So response code, for example, this one, right? So response code and equal to or contains. So I right now for 200, I am thinking it will be equal to 200, right? So how you can add, see that add button, and then here I will say 200. So this is 200. You said your response will have 200, right? And now if I run this, I'm expecting all of them will be passed. Passing, right? Because all of them has 200 response code. So what is some scenario that you may have not 200? So now if you want to see that if you write, for example, instead of 200, you just write 201, it will fail because they don't have 201, they have 200. So if you, so 200 is not equal to 201, is not, they are not same. So if I run this now, all of these test cases will be failing actually, run will be failing. You see that now? First 10, I checked with 200, they passed. And next 10, I checked with 201, they failed. So this is some of the assertion you can do. Some other few assertion you can, okay. Okay, so few other assertion you can also do. For example, okay. If you see the 200, right? Now response message. Is there any response message? Response message. You see that response message is okay also. You can say response message. What is the spelling? Is that uppercase, lowercase? Okay, oh, is uppercase. So I said now response message equal to okay. So if I run this, probably it should be passing, right? All of them passing because all of them has response message equal to okay. So what other assertion you have here actually? Response message, request header. You see that all of them you can use as your assertion. You can use as your assertion. Now, if I want to use response code and I want to use this as my negative scenario, what option I should choose here? Maybe not, right? If I say, okay, 400, should it pass this test case? Can somebody tell? I said not 400. And if I run this, will it pass?
Yeah, this pass.
Okay. All of them pass because I said should not be 400, but this is 200. So this is a correct statement. basically you can, depending on your information here, you can give any of this assertion and any parameter here and just add them. So this way you can quickly check your JMeter. So I don't think so I will cover too much on JMeter actually, because this is one of the tools sometimes like few companies use, not all the companies use, but some companies use, so that I'm just covering. Okay, so anybody has any question on like basic performance related question or anything? Okay, let's see, what is that? Okay, so I think let's watch it. So this is one of the tools that is a part of your course. You have to know like basic concept. Let me check. Okay. So as I said, you can learn more, just review. So another thing actually I wanted to show you from JMeter. So for example, you don't know what are those. Okay, so you don't know what is that means. What you can do, like just highlight this and go to edit, and you see that help, and all the information about this point will be displaying here. You see that? So for example, I want to know about thread group. I'm new, right? I need to know thread group. So I'll just highlight this thread group and go to now edit and just click help option. All the documents from Apache Maven about thread group will be displaying here. They will say you how to create thread group, what is inside the thread group, and everything you need about the thread group. All the details. So all of these are actually part of your information. So anytime you need any information, just highlight, go to edit and help. And that will be actually your resources that where you can actually see about these details. Okay. So you are kind of clear about JMeter, that what is the purpose of JMeter?
Yes, Bhai.
If
But I have a small
somebody
question
asks
here.
during the interview, you can probably give high level answer. Important thing is this is Apache source, free source, open source performance tool, right? And you need Java version 8 or higher. This is one of the important information you need. And JMeter will be basically very similar to Postman, right? You are using HTTP protocol, this kind of request and response. The big difference is you are actually testing for big number of people, big number of users actually. Postman or REST assured you use for a single user, but here you are using multiple as a thread, right? In each thread, you can use 100 people, 50 people, 1,000 people in the same time, depending on your requirement. And whatever I showed, those are like kind of basics also. And if you just check your Udemy course that I showed you, where is that actually? Here, okay, yeah. I think I covered just section 1. Whatever I covered just section 1.
So I have a question here.
Sorry?
I have a question here.
Yes.
So every test is depends on the requirements. The
yes.
How I test or how I assert, everything is in the required, right?
Oh, no. Assert is not requirement. Assert is basically how you validating your expected versus actual. Assert is totally different. But I'm saying
it's my point, right? How I assert this one.
Yeah, assert. No, this is exactly not your point. Sometimes, you have to decide. Okay, you have hundreds.
Basically, who will be
of
decide?
fields,
It's
right?
is
There is
BA
a lot of
decide
fields.
or yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have like, for example, there are like 30 different fields, right? You don't
Yes.
have to check every single fields. You have to select, okay, like 4 or 5 fields and assert those 4 or 5 fields.
So like this one, the company decide these four will be asserted, or I decide.
Company not decide. Sometimes you can get help from your development team.
Okay.
For example, this one is common one, right? This is pass or fail. But sometimes these are your requirement. For example, what is the second? What is the number of people, right? Maximum number of people. This is you coming from your requirement. Like your product owner say, okay, I want my application can handle 500 people at the same time. This is directly from your requirement. And this is your just like functionality of your request and response process, like how HTTP protocol works or 3-tier application works. So 200 means it is working correctly. If it is not 200, that means there is some kind of errors. So these two will be going side by side. 200 means okay, right? And okay and 200 is kind of same.
So it will be fixed before any test, right? What type of assert I do, everything is set. Then I will start my work. Okay.
Yes, that's true. So basically, you will be, remember for Postman, I said you will be getting some kind of resource document from your development team, your response style and everything. So you will be already getting those from your development team.
Yeah, but the big difference here, we use Postman in body, but there is no body in here. But I think it's more easier than Postman or REST assured.
This is more straightforward, actually. This is more straightforward. You will be mostly checking the get. Here you are not using post or pull or edit. You are using mostly get.
Okay.
Means response information. That you are mostly using get. The HTTP request get. This is the mostly you will be using actually. Sometimes you will be using also post, but mostly using the get. Okay. So as I said, I will not actually spend so much time on JMeter because JMeter actually is not like very, very high priority tool, but it is important sometimes because during the interview they can ask. for performance testing especially, did you use any tool? So then you can just give the answer. And also, as I said, if you use Udemy course, this Udemy just spend some time maybe for extra few sections. They actually showed you some several advanced features that sometimes will be helpful also. Frequently used elements. Okay, so yeah, that's what I'm saying, like section 1 to 5 at least you can practice. And now here maybe how Selenium and JMeter is actually coming together. This one is the last part, but usually like your company will not be using Selenium and JMeter together. So section 6 will not be very important. So try to complete this one first, and then section 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 will be important also. Means 5 means if you see any error or anything, how you can check if something is going wrong or not actually. So debugging. Okay, so I think we can stop here for JMeter. Anybody else has any other question about the course? Or
I have a question about Udemy course. Like
Yes.
before we advanced Selenium WebDriver, Rahul Shetty.
Okay.
So it's very big course.
Yes, this is a
actually.
big course actually.
So
It's like you'll see more than 40 hours.
yes, I have already completed in maybe 53rd or 56th lecture, but where I stopped? This is my question.
Oh, it's not about where actually you will be stopping. Okay. So if you go to here, right, you see that's like some stuff you're
Yeah.
supposed to practice, like handling mouse over, drag and drop down list, calendars, like select calendar. This, you see that those are like kind of common interview questions.
Oh, yes, he
You
covered
feel
everything in
comfortable.
handling
If
radio
you feel
button,
comfortable, then you
checkbox,
stop.
nested checkbox. Yeah.
Yeah, if you feel comfortable, like for example, check his stuff and try with some other website. If you think that you can just following him and test another website, that means you are good in this topic. So you can stop there. You don't have to do this.
Okay.
So I think this is person to person vary, like where you feel comfortable.
Yeah,
in
it's really
WebDriver.
big topic.
This is a big topic, so you probably cannot complete entire thing actually. This is a lot of stuff here actually.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But all the basic stuff means you can follow his instruction, or you can check some web screen, you can check calendar, you can check drop down, you can check checkbox, like this type of thing. You have to practice, and sometimes you have to practice, okay, one link to another link, right? So if you go to next page, if it is working or not, like sometimes, like step by step pages. So those stuff are important. Yeah, but WebDriver is actually the fundamental and actually main for all the automation you are doing. If you say Cucumber or TestNG, they are actually coming from WebDriver. So Cucumber and TestNG is going later. First, you have to understand WebDriver concept. Any other question?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think I will stop recording.